Hello, welcome to the two-man Power Trip Wrestling. I'm your host, JP John Poz. With me today, very special guest, MLW Superstar, WTF Superstar, JCW Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Josh Bishop. Josh, welcome. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Very good. What's going on in your world? I know you're getting ready for a huge show with MLW this weekend.
Oh yeah, I mean, just ready to get banging and clanging on the iron, getting ready for these punks of second gear crew.
So January 6th, of course, ECW, the old ECW Arena, 2300 Arena, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Kings of the Colosseum this weekend, January 6th. You can watch it on Triller TV, aka Fight, or of course get those tickets at Philly at the show itself for MLW. So huge tag match. Tell us what's going to happen here this weekend.
I'll tell you what's going to happen, John. It's going to be the same thing that happened the last time I was in the 2300 arena when I picked Matt Justice up, threw him through a table, took him down exit 187. In my debut in the Battle Royal, I set the tempo early for what I want. And, geez, we're only a few nights slumbers away from the WTF adding a little more. Well, if they're going to be adding some gold, and then we're going to be adding a little more when our main man Richard Holiday takes that heavyweight title at the end of the night.
When you look at it, second gear crew, obviously they're the tag champs. You get Matthew, Justice, and Manders there. What do you think about you and Lawler as a team versus them? I mean, how do you match up?
I mean, what do you mean? How do we match up? I think we beat him in every category, statistically speaking. Here, I mean, there's some tough guys. They're tough guys. Listen, I'm not trying to talk them down. They're the toughest. They used to be the toughest guys in MLW, and then I showed up, and they're in most places they're the toughest guys there are. As long as Filthy, Tom Lawler, and the Intense Icon aren't in the same locker room as them, and it's not. It's not. It's just business. I don't need to make it personal. It's just business. You got the gold, and I got to take it from you. And Justice, I know you better than anyone else. You know me better than anyone else. We're gonna do this until one of us puts the other one 6 feet under in the grave, and that might happen on Saturday. If that's what I need to do to take that title, it's what I got to do.
MLW World Tag Team titles could be in your future, like you said, could be in WTF's future, World Titan Federation. That would be nice for you guys.
Oh yeah, we look at us, the Titans. We're the premier superstars of Major League Wrestling. One of the reasons people are tuning in is to see the Titans. And what are the Titans going to do this week? And you know what we're going to do this week is we're going to take those tag team titles.
How did you get into the WTF? I know MSL there, St. Laurent brings you into the group. How did they actually kind of recruit you into WTF?
I mean, look at my buddy. Look at my buddy Tom Lawler. That's my boy. That I've known that man for the last 7 years of my life. When MSL said, "Hey Tom, we really need any big scary men I can become the Titans," and he said, "I got just the guy for you. I got the Intense Icon." So we made the call. He called me up. I was in the middle of Rip City. He said, "Listen, I got something for you, and it's a 2-for-1 special treat. The first treat is you get to come to MLW. The second treat is you get to beat up second gear crew." And I mean, what else? You didn't really need to convince me anymore. And then I saw the first paycheck from MSL. And I went, oh my, oh my. Thank you, sir. Whatever you need from me, you keep those $100 bills coming like they're nothing, please. I have got a nothing but stacks of Blueface Benjamin Franklins now to the ceiling thanks to MSL.
Now, WTF and MLW, just in general, just seems like they've kind of just taken over almost recently. I mean, just completely took MLW by storm, it seems like.
Yeah, yeah, because we run the show. We're the biggest superstars. Who else you want out there? Some out of shape losers? Look at all of us. We look like superstars. We're superstars for a reason. When you think of what is a professional wrestling superstar, look at someone in the WTF. I guarantee you, if you had to ask the common folk, draw a professional wrestling superstar, they're going to draw somebody in the WTF without even knowing it.
When you look at Richard Holiday and who knows with Hammerstone in or out, but he did team with you guys last time. It's a pretty formidable group with Lawler obviously in the fold as well. It's pretty
Oh, yeah.
good group you guys got together. Group, pretty good faction. Where do you stack up as far as wrestling with some of the other great factions that are going on?
The greatest? Who's better?
Tough to say. It's a pretty formidable group, especially if Holiday ends up beating Alex Kane in the main event for the world title. Then you got a big case.
And I got nothing but confidence in Holiday.
So what do you think about MLW just so far, like as far as it's starting there, debuting there, like what do you think about the promotion so far and where you guys can be headed in the future?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I'm came to MLW to take over. I'm here to take this company over and take it by storm, and that's exactly what I've been doing since I came in. I mean, when you look, I think if you're asking me where's MLW going to be at, and hell, even after just Saturday, I'd say it's a WTF at the top, holding as much gold as possible and holding all the gold and just doing whatever we want. We do what we want and we say whatever we want to, whatever we want to, because who's going to stop us? We truly are superstars. And it all is because MSL, just MSL, he needed an elite crew of superstars. And that's what he has assembled with the WTF.
When you look at it, I know you're going for the tag titles, but just singles competition. When you look at the roster, who do you want to face in MLW? Because I mean, obviously Fatu is there, but they just bringing in Matt Riddle now. So who is like on your radar as far as wanting to wrestle in MLW?
I'd love to get in there with Fatu and pick his big ass up and take him down exit 187. I'd love to get in there with him. And I'd love to get in there with anyone that thinks they can hang. Anyone that thinks that you can hang with the intense icon, please, please, I dare you to step into the ring with me. And you're going to learn exactly why I am as good as I believe and I say I am, because I'm an absolute superstar. You're going to see why I'm as good as Tom Lawler says I am, as good as MSL says I am, because I'm a superstar for a reason. When that bell rings, being in the ring with the intense icon, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. And you would all be honored and lucky to get in the ring with me if you're an MLW wrestler.
What do you think about the Riddle signing? That was pretty big signing for there, fresh off the WWE.
I could give a fuck less about Matt Riddle. If he wants some of this, come step in the ring with me, Matt Riddle. You want to take this out in the back? Let's take it out back. I got no respect for Matt Riddle at all.
So names don't matter. You don't care for you where they come from or what name they have.
It doesn't matter. I don't care who you are, what you've done, or where you've been. Because what's going to happen is when we get in the ring and that bell rings, it's just one man versus another man. I am not afraid of another man. I don't care who you are. I am afraid of no man walking this earth. You are nothing but a man, and all men can die. And if I have to put you down, that's what I'll have to do.
And were you always a big wrestling fan? Like before you got into the business, were you a fan?
Oh, I love it. I mean, how can you not love professional wrestling? I love every style, and that's why I'm one of the most versatile guys going today is because I studied every style. I know I can do any style. Put me in the ring with anyone and I'll shine out because I can wrestle every style there is. But I just love smashing people's faces in. I love being the smash mouth guy. But if you want to put me in there with someone and see some chain wrestling, I'll throw a couple holds on for you. You want to see me what else? What anyone, some lucha guys. Gringo Loco was teaching me how to base before I even knew how to have a match. So I'm ingrained in this. I know how to do everything there is to do.
So how would you describe your style? Like if somebody said, who is Josh Bishop? How was the style? You
Who's
would just say like
Josh
a
Bishop?
hybrid?
Intense, and hard hitting because nobody's gonna hit you harder than me. I didn't get the nick. Another reason I'm in the WTF is why don't you ask Matt Cardona about the wars we had and how he said, "Oh, Josh Bishop's available. We need someone tough." He looked at Tom. He said, "All right, let's get the intense icon," because you don't get the nickname Stiffy McGee just for just to get it. You got to earn it. And they don't call me the Stiffmeister for just to because it's a cute thing to print on a T-shirt. I've earned that name.
So if you said like hybrid, but kind of can do anything, but more Smash
Oh
Mouth,
yeah,
that's
oh
kind of what
yeah.
you would say.
Oh, yeah. I would say a smash mouth style, but I have the ability. I have all these tools in my back pocket that no one in MLW even knows yet. Nobody knows. I can pull these tools out at any point in my life, at any point I need to. That's why I am nothing but confident for me and Tom Lawler to become the tag team champions. Because you want to put us in there against the high flying tag team? I've been in there with the highest of flyers. You want to put us in there against some submission wrestlers? All right, that's cool. Tom Lawler, former UFC legend. He's a former UFC. He's a legend of the UFC, a pioneer, a former top fighter. Now he's made the transition to pro wrestling, and he's nothing but just one of the top wrestlers. And he's been doing nothing but ingraining submissions into me. I'm nothing but just a young pupil that just wants to learn, and my mind just constantly is developed. Tom Lawler teaches me the submissions. We can get in there with any submission wrestler, but I guarantee you, whichever submission tag team won't have the power that we have.
Hey, and they say it takes about 7 years for a wrestler to come into his own. Perfect timing, right? I mean, to
Oh yeah.
really get it and come into his own.
Oh yeah, and it didn't click with me till recently. I really don't think it clicked with me till I joined the WTF, and my eyes were kind of open.
So how did it click though? Like what was it that kind of What's the light bulb in your head?
Just going out there and just seeing, all right, if you really want to get somewhere, no one's coming for you. You just got to kick the door in yourself. So when I walked through the curtain at MLW for the first time, and they told me come to the ring and just beat them down, Tom and Broski, they said just come and beat these chumps down and make an impact, make your moment, and that's what I've been doing because, I mean, I've I'm ready for nothing but just being the top guy. I'll settle for nothing but being the top guy at every company I wrestle at, no matter who it is. Whoever wants to send that check my way, I guarantee you I'll be the top guy because you'll have no choice for me to be the top guy.
Now, what have you learned from Matt Cardona? Because it didn't, I mean, we were mentioning him, but didn't even mention him with the WTF. Obviously, he's been everywhere. He's done everything. He's a huge star
Oh
still.
man,
He's king of the indies. So, what have you learned from Matt?
I've fuck. I mean, sorry, I don't know if I can swear or not, but
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
I mean, I don't think I can give you just one lesson or one lesson he's taught me. That dude has taught me so many things, and even if he doesn't realize it, just his little gems he always has. He is truly working with that man is like a diamond mine because you just that man is truly a diamond mine because you walk in. If you walk into anywhere with him, you just have to learn. You immediately can pick up. You're picking up a gem here, diamond, diamond, diamond. Okay, and these little tricks and these little tips, and then maybe not let everyone see them, but maybe 6 months from now, I'll be like, oh, I know this because Cardona taught me. Pull it out, and it's just another tool you have in your tool belt. It's just he has just an infinite wealth of knowledge, and it's an incredible thing to learn from. Honestly, he's taught me so much about wrestling.
Man, if perfect guy to learn from. Been to the mountaintop, if you will. He's been everywhere. The king of the indies. He's selling toys. He does
Yeah,
everything. He knows what he's
he,
doing. Great marketer.
oh yeah, he really. I mean, that's the thing too. It's not even about wrestling. It's about the marketing. Like he's just instilled let just got on me about lessons, about things, about how it's more than just what happens in the ring. It's more than just what happens between bell to bell, which is the thing I was just focused on for so long, was owning my craft from the bell to bell. I never took the time to realize, oh, this really is more than just what happens if in the ring. And that's why I had to come to MLW because it's a bigger opportunity for me to market myself to the world and say, look at me. I am the intense icon. I'm the man. And at the WTF, look at me. I'm with the biggest superstars because I am a superstar. And now it's time for everyone to realize it.
And it's a lot about like the emotional investment of the fans, not just the moves, but what you do between the moves and around the moves. They got to invest in you as the character, right? I mean, that's big.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone can go out there and do, 20 Canadian destroyers in a row. Today's wrestling. If you can't do a Canadian destroyer, you must, and you're a younger guy, that who cares? But if you make that one Canadian destroyer you do mean so much more because people care so much about wrestler A and wrestler B, that it's not about a lot of people always try and say in these interviews it's about doing less is more, or whatever. Like people are doing too much, but it's not really. I don't really think that's a good way to describe it. I think you should try and make more out of less, if that makes sense. And that's a lesson that someone taught me also is getting more out of less. Because if you see a guy in a movie and he kills 100 people, well, who really cares by the time you get to 100 people? But if the guy in the movie kills one person, then you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So why would I have to do 100 things if I can just make my one mean more?
Right. That's a nice lesson for guys to learn because you want it to mean something. Because if you're just doing it willy nilly and do it a million times, people are going to tune out.
Exactly, exactly. And that's when it's okay. Let me see what's going on. What else is going on in the world? Let me check Twitter, Instagram, because there is such a potential for people to get distracted. I mean, it's you have a computer, you have the entire world in basically the pocket of your phone, in your pocket or your fanny pack or wherever you keep your phone at. But
Yeah, and then people have that short attention span too, so they can lose focus
exactly,
quickly. So that you want to be them to be invested in it, paying attention. Whatever you do means something. I feel like that is a lot of the guys today. Maybe they don't realize that they're just doing a million moves, trying to get their stuff in, if you will.
yeah, anybody can get gift, but what are you gonna do that's gonna make me so invested as a viewer that I'm not gonna want to gift this? Like damn, I don't want to stop watching this because I can't stop watching because it's just too, and it has my attention hooked that much.
Now, with you, is there guys on your radar, not just MLW, but just in general, that you want to wrestle that you haven't wrestled yet? Did people say dream match, if you will, but
Oh yeah,
that type of
of
thing.
course. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'll say the one that I've been saying in a lot of interviews lately is Hangman Adam Page. Absolutely, I would love to just drink his blood, honestly, and spit it right in his face.
Who else?
I mean, Moxley, of course, obviously, is just an Ohio guy. Johnny, if I was to pull from some WWE, I would love to get in there with Johnny Gargano, just because, I mean, Cleveland, Cleveland. But, I mean, I think that there's just, from Impact, Josh Alexander, or TNA, I guess, no, sorry, Josh Alexander. But, yeah, I just think there's a lot of potential for just some good, big matchups for me coming up, and especially with MLW.
Now, obviously, MLW, that's where you are now. Is there other places you'd like to work? Because I know obviously JCW is a big spot for you right now, but like other places
Mhm.
that you haven't worked that you'd like to work, like would you like to go to Japan? What
Oh,
about
I'd
stuff
love.
like that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Japan was my is my ultimate. Like I always thought as a young wrestler and like wrestling fan, like if I could just get to Japan, like that's it. Like if I could just get to Japan, that's all I need. And so Japan is ultimately it's one of my super goals. Like I look at it almost every day on my goal board. But um, yeah, I mean, and I think, but the ultimate like end goal, I think for every wrestler is, or I mean, at least I would assume is like to be the main event of WrestleMania, since it is like WrestleMania season. But yeah, that's would be my ultimate goal.
Now, was there guys in Japan that you looked at that you were a big fan of that you're like, man, I love that guy's style? Even old school guys. Was that why you kind of
Oh,
love Japan?
absolutely. I just love the. I love when wrestling is physical, more physical, if that makes sense. Like I don't really like the showman. It's not that the showmanship isn't appealing to me, but like the more flashy, kind of high flying stuff. And I'm not trying to discredit it. Listen, I'm not at all trying to discredit it. I have nothing but respect for it. So the way some people move, I will never be able to understand or comprehend. I cannot do that. But to me, it is just not the thing that I'm the most invested in, maybe as a fan. But I liked the physicality of Japanese wrestling, where it's just the stiffer strikes. I love when it's just like 20 minutes into a match and dudes are just laying it a nice monster chop, and you just the sweat and blood is going everywhere, and like just the intensity also maybe kind of yeah probably the intensity and just the physicality is what I love so much about Japanese wrestling. And so that's why I mean a guy like Bruiser, if you watch when Bruiser Brody comes through that curtain, like it is like, oh, what is going, and he's just swinging his chain. And like Terry Funk when he's just out there and he's bleeding, and they're fighting. Like the fight is what I like about Japanese wrestling.
I was just watching Scott Norton versus Vader from the early to mid '90s era,
Oh,
and
okay.
man, holy crap, they're awesome! They were just killing each
Oh
other.
yeah. Al, this actually goes against everything I just said about the physicality and the intensity. But there's a Japanese wrestling match on YouTube. Everybody should. I'm gonna highly recommend. It is Scott Hall versus Japanese Young Boy. Just type that in because it doesn't tell you who the wrestler is until after. But the shock of when you see who wins and how this match goes is so mind-boggling.
Damn, now I'm gonna have to watch that.
It's
I
on
haven't seen
YouTube.
that.
It's on YouTube. It's great. It's awesome.
Now, speaking of YouTube, let's say we put your name in, or you want matches to be on there of your career that were your favorite or are the best. What would people like? What would you want people to watch? Like, hey, this was my favorite match, or this was my best match, or
Mm,
maybe a couple.
okay. One that just got put on YouTube today was actually I just got tagged on this right before was me versus Alec Price, and that was from last year's JT Lightning Invitational Memorial Tournament night two. But me versus Brian Myers probably is my favorite match that you could watch on YouTube, and one of my more favorite matches ever. It really gave me a lot of confidence, actually. Just he made me really feel like an actual pro wrestler. And I know that probably sounds so weird, but like after that match, I just like had this feeling like, okay, like I kind of, even though I was like 5 or 6 years in wrestling, I was like, okay, maybe I like belong as a wrestler. Almost like I've always felt like an outcast in every locker room besides after that moment, which probably makes no sense to anyone that's not a wrestler. But if you are a wrestler and you're listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
When you think about like where you are right now,
Yeah.
do you feel like you're in your prime, or do you feel like you're ascending into your prime? Because I feel like
Oh,
like you said, that 7 year period, that's like perfect almost for a wrestler.
I think I'm ascending, honestly. I think every year I get better and better. And I think I still have a lot of untapped potential. I think there's a lot of things I'm still trying to develop and learn and work on to be better at. But yeah, I think for a wrestler, truthfully, your prime is like maybe 10 plus 15 years plus in as a in-ring competitor because you know you've made because you've sometimes you'll go out there and you'll try and you'll see, okay, I want to see if this works if I do something this way, and it doesn't. And that's maybe it's an X on the night. Like what your thing you want to try on didn't work. And when you're 10 years in, you have so many more X's things that you tried but didn't work, but now you know the solution to and it works better as this things in your tool belt. Oh my. So you have so many more tools and just knowledge of what to do, how to make things. What we were talking about earlier, when people are invested in you, how to make them more invested in you. And then you have all of your things most likely probably established, like your bigger moves and things like that if you're 10 plus in. So I really think that as a wrestler, you're probably not even close to your prime to like 10 to 15 years in.
Wow, good point. So as we head towards wind down, head towards the finish, what else is on your goal board? What else is on there?
Ooh, what is on my goal board? Well, MLW Gold is on my goal board. Um, what is another thing on my goal board that I want to share? I have some like bench press numbers and things I want to hit on my goal board also this year. Like I'd love to get I think if I could bench 6 plates, I think that it would just be nasty because that's more than most people will ever squat in their entire lives.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah. So if I could get 6 plates on each side, that would just be nasty. And but I've been getting back into powerlifting a little bit. I used to live in Columbus, and at the time when I lived in Columbus for a few years, I was training at a gym called the Dog House, and it was where a lot of guys that used to train at West Side Barbell trained at. And from there, I learned a lot. That gym got me strong. Like I knew how to work out before I started going there, but that place taught me how to lift, and that place just got me strong. It was just competitive, hardcore, just old rusty weights, blood and guts gym. It was awesome, and I got so strong there. So I would love to. And there was one guy there that I just thought was a beast because he could bench 6 plates for reps. And if I could just get that once, I would feel accomplished. That's on my goal board.
But that's got to be what, 450, 400, somewhere around there?
Oh no, that's more than that. It's
Or almost 500, actually, right?
no, it's 585.
Oh, shit. Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Damn. Damn, that's impressive. You're like a throwback to these guys from the 80s, like Barbarian, the Warlord, the Road Warriors, lifting all
yeah.
that weight.
Sorry,
Damn.
I meant six on each side, not just six in total.
I got you. But that's just,
Yeah,
I mean, you're like, yeah, you really are a throwback to those guys of that era who lifted all those weights.
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of guys have show muscle, but not a lot of guys have go muscle. And I think you got to have the go muscle more than you got to have the show muscle. Because there's been plenty of times where I've just had to pick someone, a near 300-pound person up in the air, and I just pick them up and slam them on the ground. And I really believe if I didn't have the go muscle to do that, if I didn't train hard, like a powerlifting and a strongman kind of style, then I would not have the capabilities to stop people in midair when they weigh so much. For a guy like Big Damo, when I wrestled him, I told him run as hard as you can at me, and I'll just catch you. And he was like, "What?" I was like, "Trust me, I will catch you no matter what. I can lift anyone. There's never been a person I've not been able to pick up."
Damn, you're like the next Brock Lesnar. There, you're just going to pick up anybody, or like the Steiner brothers. They used to literally pick guys up when they were like, no, 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 and they would like the
Oh
Giant
yeah,
and Vader, pick them up, throw them over their head. That's
oh
you
yeah.
know, that's like you, yeah.
I love just when someone is. I love watching a match and someone just goes in just an actual deadlift straight pickup, like Chad Gable when he just does these deadlift Germans. I
Yeah.
think they're so awesome.
I was watching the Steiners against Bam Bam and Vader. It's like those guys are not small. I mean, they're 400 pounds. They're
Oh
throwing them over
yeah,
their heads like they're nothing.
oh
Crazy.
yeah. It's just that was just that monster size. Like that's what I strive. Honestly, that's what I strive for. It's just that you just your traps are so big and you're just so strong and like you can lift anything. Like there's nothing you can look at. Like there's no amount of weight that you're like, I don't know if I can get that. It's like, oh yeah, I'll be able to get it. Don't worry.
That's amazing. I remember there was a Scott
Yeah.
Steiner match against the Giant on Nitro, and he literally, I guess he wasn't supposed to. He literally just picks up Giant, threw him over his head, and Kevin
Oh,
Sullivan asked him. He goes, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to get.
oh,
I wanted you to look dominant." He goes, "What am I
yeah.
supposed to do?" He literally just picked me up, threw me over his head, and the Giant was what 450 probably. I mean, he was
Oh
huge.
yeah, and 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I just imagine. But that's you. You're the new the new Steiner brother there with all that power. Yeah,
I'd love that. Yeah, that's a bit. Yeah, and I want to have I want to get my squat back up to 600 pounds again. Also, I've been pretty bad about my squat,
nice, pretty
but
impressive though. Yeah.
where I can comfortably rep 600.
Damn, it's pretty impressive. Wow, you're not fooling around here. If somebody's going to bet on somebody, got to bet on you to
Oh,
win some titles and kick some ass here in wrestling. Damn,
thank you.
pretty good.
Appreciate that. Thank
So
you.
just want to mention, of course, MLW January 6th pay-per-view from Philadelphia at the ECW Arena, aka 2300 Arena, the Kings of the Colosseum. Also going to be taping some MLW Fusion as well. It's available on Triller TV, aka Fight. Go to MLW.com for more. The second gear crew, the One Cold Manders and Matthew Justice, will be defending their tag team titles against WTF, the World Titan Federation, Filthy Tom Lawler, and of course, Josh Bishop. It's going to be a title fight. So, just one last prediction for you. Maybe not only a prediction, but maybe a spoiler for the show.
New tag team champions, the WTF baby. Filthy Tom Lawler, the Intense Icon, second gear crew. How many times do I have to put you down? I've put you down all over the country, and now I'm putting you down in MLW now too, and I cannot wait to do it with my buddy, one of my best friends, Tom Lawler.
Love that. Now, where can everybody find you, follow you, social media, and otherwise?
Follow me on Instagram at Joshua Bishop, or yeah, Joshua Bishop II, and then on Twitter at Joshua Bishop, and then the little underscore thing
All right,
after.
awesome. So, everybody, of course, check out Kings of the Coliseum this weekend for MLW. Go to MLW.com for more. Josh, thank you so much for all the time. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.